hello. Good morning, good evening, good night. Whatever time you're listening, we're glad that you are. Welcome to another wonderful episode of the House Act podcast. Per usual, I am one of your co-founders slash hosts, Justin Hall, and with me I've got.
Casey Freeman. Hi, hello. How y'all doing today? I hope you're well. And today we have a guest that we've known since 2018. She is absolutely amazing, so talented, thoughtful, kind, really just immaculate, radiant, and a multifaceted artist. We have Daja M. Rice with us here today. Daja, greet the people, if you will.
Hello, everyone. Nice to be with y'all. I was about to say nice to see you, but that would be a lie because I can't see you.
And she's honest too.
So I'll just say thank you, Justin and Casey, for having me. I'm so excited to be with y'all and chat with you today. I'm really honored to be on your platform, so thank you.
Yeah, no, we're absolutely honored to have you. For some background context, Deja is an incredible creator in a lot of many forms. Most often, you'll see her acting and or singing, both of which she does quite incredibly. But
Okay.
she also does a lot of behind the scenes work as well as some programs for children that we're gonna get into, which I'm excited to talk about. But before we jump on in, before we get to all the good stuff, first, Deja, how you doing today?
I'm doing well. I have Monday is my day off, and so I'm just, chilling.
Wow, the fact that you came on your day off, wow. Oh my
Oh no,
gosh.
it's perfectly fine. I had a chance to sit down and let a movie watch me earlier. And that was very refreshing. So just, getting a chance to chill and rest. So I feel very zen right now.
Yeah, great. I believe need and earn it. We just saw you at Waitress at the Aurora
Yeah.
last weekend. For those that don't believe it when we say Deja's always busy, she's dead in the middle of a run. And I'll say that show, it looked exhausting from how much fun you
Mm.
guys are having. It looked pretty demanding. How's that been for you?
Yeah, it is as fun as it looks. It really is. But yes, at the end of each show, we are tired
Mm.
nonetheless. So, having our days off are, a blessing, a gift, right when they need to be. But yeah, the show is so fun. Like I told you guys when I saw you there, I love doing anything at Aurora Theater. They're just such a blessing to work with every time. And Carol Pence is an amazing music director, and just everyone under her leadership there, they do things with such warmth and kindness. So it's a blessing to be there. And then we had a great director, Amanda Watson, and our choreographer, Carrie Twyman, who's also playing the role of Dawn. The cast is amazing. I mean, just great. Just a great team. And so yeah, we are having tons of fun. We are.
Nice, nice. I didn't know
Yeah.
Don was also the choreographer.
Yes,
Mm.
right? Isn't she like a Renaissance woman?
Yeah, yeah. Love somebody that can do it all. And I'm
Yes.
glad to hear it. Try
Yeah.
as I might, I've asked around and I haven't heard a single bad thing about the Aurora coming out of people that have worked with them.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah,
What
they're
what
amazing.
does it mean for you? What is okay, first of all, what is a good experience from a theater that you're working with? What are the things that let you know, okay, you're
Mm.
treating you well?
Oh, baby. Let's get into it. I'm kidding. I'm about to spill all the tea. All right. So, no. What I look for in a good experience with a theater company is, like I said, the kindness. Um, when they are able to treat their actors like people and not robots. Because if like it can be really easy to just look at, your actors or your talent as like workhorses. But what I really expect about the Aurora and theater companies alike, they don't look at us like robots or machines where they just press a button and we just go. Like they look at us as human beings and they care about our well-being as well as our productivity. And I really appreciate that. I love a theater company that knows how to pay.
That part.
Hello.
Praise God. I know. I love a theater company who knows how to write them checks. Okay, and they don't bounce. Um, and I love a theater company that knows how to put together both gifted uh, people and people who understand work ethic, right? Like,
Yeah.
I love playing alongside and creating alongside people who know how to challenge me, right? Like, and they
Yeah.
don't come in with the intention to challenge me. Just by being themselves, just by being their best self, they challenge me, right? Because I feel like when you're amongst really great people, it's nice to just look at the person next to you and be like, all right, you doing that? All right, I'm gonna do this. Or I'm gonna do this. It's just like making each other better and making each other up the ante every time. I love that.
Yeah. Great actors do greater when they're around other great actors.
Yeah, that's
It's
right.
good. It's a very good, healthy competition to see a
Yes.
nice co-star amp it up to 11, and you say, "I'm pretty sure 12 is right after that," and take it.
Right.
Great. Awesome. So you talked about basically like meeting challenges, learning that you liked kindness with the people that you work with.
Mhm.
Is that something that you cultivated throughout your artistic journey? Could you give us a little background about how you came to this point in your career?
Man, I don't know that I've ever worked with unkind people. Now I've worked with some characters that I don't look forward to working with again. But it wasn't that they were unkind. They were just themselves. And you meet people that you vibe with, you meet people that you don't vibe with, but in the moment, um you do the work, right? That's the gig, is that sometimes you're going to be afforded the luxury to create with people who they're on the same frequency as you, and sometimes you're just going to have to work with people who you wouldn't want to work with, but it's okay. I think that realization just comes with maturity, just understanding that everybody is not like you. You're not going to like everyone, and everyone is not going to like you. But at the end of the day, you're both working towards a common goal, and that's telling a beautiful story, bringing laughter and entertainment to a people who have taken time out of their day, money out of their pockets to come and see you, right? So they deserve a good show. And I think if you can't um, get on the same page about anything else, you should be able to get on the same page about that. And so that just comes with maturity. So I don't expect that I will like everyone I work with, but I have been blessed that I haven't had any experiences that were undoable. Does that make sense? Is undoable a word?
I'm pretty sure
It
undoable is
is
a
It
word.
is
now.
You're
now.
good. Yeah. Hello.
I'll take it. I'll take it. Um, did you always know that you wanted to be an actress? Was this?
No. Long answer short, and now longer. I'll expound. So growing up, I was a singer. I was born into a family of singers or musically inclined people. Shout out to my dad, who he can't sing at all, but he can whistle though. He can whistle.
Come on, whistle.
But my mom was the singer, right? And her mom was a singer, and her mom was a singer. Actually, growing up, my mom used to be in a girl group called he gonna laugh
Destiny's
at it.
Child.
She was in a girl group called Revelation, straight from the Word of God, and we
Hello.
and we've always said the name like that because you got to say it with power. It's a powerful name. But she was in that girl group. It consisted of her, my grandmother, and other women, like, interchangeably. And so they on Sundays would go and do brunch performances at the Cotton Club in Harlem, because I'm originally from New
What?
York. So my mom used to perform at the Cotton Club in Harlem. So that's the kind of stock I come from. Like, we are a family of musically inclined people. Just out of the womb singing, right? And so I always wanted to be a singer. I recorded my first song when I was like 11 years old, wrote my first song when I was 10 years old, won my first pageant at 10 years old, singing. And so I like just always sang. It wasn't until, and all throughout my upbringing, my grandmother, my Nana, God rest her soul, she used to always say, Daja is gonna be in one of them soap operas when she get older. She gonna be in one of them soap operas, and she gonna be telling the stories. And I was like, okay, whatever. I want to be in 3LW, right? But but she was so adamant that I would like be in the soaps. And when I was in 12th grade, my last year in high school, I got put into a theater class because I just had to take another elective. And I got put in this theater class, and my theater teacher, shout out to Miss Valerie Johnson, she said to me, she said, Deja, you're really good at this. Do you want to be a part of a local play that's happening at the college or the university? And that was University of South Carolina at the time. I was living in South Carolina. And she said, do you want to be a part of that play? And I was like, okay, sure. At the time, the trajectory of my life, I had never really been a part of like extracurricular things. So it was just exciting for me to do that. And so I did it. It was a play called Translations in 10, like a series of 10-minute plays. And I did it. And she came and she was like, whoa. She was like, do you want to major in theater in college? And I was like, sure. At the time, I didn't even know if I would really go to college because my grades were horrible. That's another story. If you want to read my memoir. But
Hello.
I don't currently have one, but but I should. But yeah, so she asked me if I wanted to major in theater, and I said yes. Now, at the time, I wasn't really serious about it, so I didn't major in theater. I majored in all the things. I dropped out of college like 3 times before I stayed. But long story shorter, eventually, when I did go back to college and I got really serious about it, I had auditioned for AMDA, which is in New York, and I got in. But those of you who know, AMDA is super expensive, and I couldn't afford it, right? Like the money they were trying to give me would only cover like maybe a quarter or a third of the tuition. So, but I took that. I couldn't afford to go, but I took that as a sign that I was actually good enough to go. Like I got accepted, but I just couldn't afford it. So in my mind, I was like, oh, I must be good enough to do this, although I cannot afford to do it here. And so when I finally decided that I wanted to go to school and stay in school and stop bumming it on my grandmother's couch, um, no judgment to those of you who are currently bumming on your grandmother's couch.
You're allowed to
Equal
listen to this
opportunity. I
from your
respect all life,
grandmother's couch.
all life journeys. All right. So, but yeah, so I decided, okay, well then let me try another school that doesn't cost as much. At the time, my mother was living in North Carolina. I decided if I want to go to school and I'm going to be successful at it this time around, I want to be near my support system. So I went to North Carolina Central University, applied for their theater program, didn't have to audition to get in, got accepted, and the rest is history. And that's when I became an actress.
Hello.
Thank you.
Nice. I like how in your story you don't shy away from the turbulent up and downs,
Yeah.
right? And also important, it found
Yeah.
you in this
I mean,
setting,
you can't, right? You can't,
right?
because all of it is a part of your story. Anybody who knows me knows that I'm a believer. I love Jesus Christ and I love his word. And in his word, he tells us that all things work together for the good of those who love the Lord according to the purpose. And so I I believe that everything that has happened in my life, good, bad, ugly, beautiful, indifferent, doesn't matter. It all worked together to make me who I am now. And is working together to make me who I will yet become, right? And so I can't shy away from it. My testimony, they overcome them by the blood of the Lamb, by the word of the testimony. You have to appreciate from where you came, because it all matters in the grand scheme of your life story, right? So
Amen.
Hello.
Yeah. Let's talk about it then. As the there's a temperature throughout the arts and whatnot,
mhm.
that's free and openly accepting, and sometimes it is difficult for those that are like deep rooted in their faith and
Mm-hmm.
the followings and teachings of Jesus to like go through with it and stay true to themselves. Have you experienced any of that?
In my mind, yes. And a little bit in reality as well. And I'm going to explain what I mean by that. Yes, in reality, I have been met with some resistance when it comes to me having boundaries that were founded on my morals and my faith walk. But when I look back in hindsight, no one was actually ever against my faith walk or my morals.
Real.
I think people, especially in this day and age, just have a hard time with understanding boundaries. It's like because we live in this time where anything goes and you can do anything, be anything, whatever you say it is, and people accept facts as truth, which they're not the same. Um, I think people can get uncomfortable sometimes when a person walks in a room and says, "No, I will not do that." And you can't make me, right? So that can make people uncomfortable. But I think this narrative that people resist people walking in their faith, I think that is more in the mind. For me, I won't speak for anyone else. For me, I think that was all in my head because as I have grown more aware of who I am in God and what the Lord has called me to do in the earth, that has become less and less of a thing. I just had a conversation with my husband not too long ago. Shout out to Jonathan Rice.
Shout
My
out.
man, my man, my man. Um, but I just had a conversation with him not too long ago where I said, there's been this lie that we, the people of God, have accepted that people don't want God. And it's a lie. It's a lie. I meet people every day who love the Lord. Are they perfect people? No, none of us are. Right? I mean, hey, whoever is, throw the first stone. But nobody's perfect. But I meet people every day who love the Lord and want nothing more than to be closer to him. And if I can be just a small beacon of light in the darkness that surrounds them and constantly tells them that that's not okay. And it's not always external darkness. Sometimes it's internal darkness, right? But I believe that the Lord has called me into those spaces to be a light. And if I can be that for anybody, that's who I'm going to be, and I'm not going to accept the lie that that's not acceptable. It is acceptable, right? The earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. And so if I can go into these spaces, then very well, I can do what I came to do in purpose, right? And so, yeah, that's how I look at it. It is a thing, but it's not a thing.
Real. Yeah. It makes sense. It makes sense. And I I see exactly where you're coming from. I like pretty often it does come inside and it's more, learning to find your voice and be able to stand, firm
Yeah.
in your faith. Um and sometimes it comes from, like you said, some people see you as robots, so they don't
Hmm.
expect,
Yeah.
these
They
extra
don't expect you to
things.
have boundaries. They don't expect for you to have standards. That's the biggest thing is that like people have a problem with boundaries. People have a problem with standards. And people don't have a problem with me loving the Lord. That's not it. That's what I used to think it was. That's not it. People have a problem with boundaries and standards.
Right.
Because in as much as I see that people do love the Lord, people do want God, people have no problem with Jesus being all up in their space. They have no problem. It's when there are boundaries, it's when there are standards that it becomes a problem. And that has nothing to do with God.
I
That
know that's right.
that has everything to do with your own lack of standards and boundaries, that you can't respect those of someone else.
Right. Was there a certain moment in your life where you like it defined for you that it really is a boundary, like it's boundaries that people have an issue with rather than, your values?
I don't remember when I had that revelation. I don't remember a key point, a key time when I had that revelation that it is just boundaries and standards and not my faith. But I do have recollections of moments when those boundaries and standards have been challenged. And even if I misidentified it in the moment, I did notice that people had a problem with it. I'll give you an example. So we met at University of Georgia, and my first year there as a graduate student, I was, and it's so funny that I'm doing this interview with you, Nikasi, because
It's
you.
funny because we also talked to Martin about this as well. He's on the podcast. Listen,
Oh,
okay.
Yeah,
okay, all
Hello.
the
right, very
viewers are
good.
about to
So
get
let's
full
see if
flame.
his memory about this is the same as mine. But no, I love and will always respect Martin for how he affirmed me through this. Let me tell y'all what we're talking about. So it's my first semester at University of Georgia, and let me say this as a disclaimer. I love UGA and the faculty that supported me, taught me, poured into me throughout my program. Love them down, okay? But I was met with resistance as it pertains to my boundaries and standards the first semester and throughout my whole entire time there, honestly. But this specific moment was because they were doing a production of In the Blood. And any of you who know that script, the main character has to do some things on stage that at the time I was not okay with doing. I'm still not okay. That's still a boundary for me, right? And excuse me, I promise I'm not about to cry. I'm just hoarse. So, um, so I went to the powers that be and told them I do not accept this role. And there was a thing, I don't know, before I got there that just like, if you're there as a graduate student and you get assigned a role, you have to take it. And I was actually told that, no, you don't get to decide that you don't want to take a role. You have to take it. And I was like, no, I don't. Like, no, I don't. And I didn't. And I held strong to that boundary. And I didn't do it. But then they got another beautiful actress who that was not a part of her boundaries. And she slayed it. Nikasi Freeman. Like, she did the role. I went to go see her. She was amazing in it. Like, your program is not going to fall apart just because I don't want to do this one role. You'll be okay. There are other Black people here, right? So,
So few,
so
but yes.
right? Talented Black actresses who can do this role justice, and you did. You were amazing in that role, Nikasi. And I think that experience made me realize that, like, oh, people don't understand that no do mean no. Okay, come on, Ice Cube, right? Like, no means no. I do not have to do things just because it's on your metric as what a true actress is. Because my identity is not in what I do, right? I think I remember having that revelation during the pandemic when we couldn't pretty much do much of anything, and I remember having that moment with God where he made me realize you are not what you do. You are who I say you are. And the only way you know who I say you are is if you spend intimate time with me in my word, in worship, in prayer, And to all of you watching, you might be saying, like, she just talk about God too much. Well, God bless. Because that's what I'm going to do, baby. But I had to have that revelation that, like, I'm not what I do. And so, no, that means I don't have to do just anything somebody tells me I have to do, because my identity is not founded on what I do. My identity is in who the Lord says I am, right? And so if I understand what I'm here to do, that means I have to stay on brand. I can't be doing everything under the sun and letting the wind blow me every which way, because then I get out of purpose. And if there's anything I want more than anything else, it's to do everything I do in purpose, right? I don't want to be out here just doing stuff just to be doing it, right? And so if I would have done that role, it wouldn't have even been as satisfying to the audience, because I would have been doing it outside of purpose. I think the person who was supposed to do that role did it. And I stick by that. Even to this day, where I am having to forge my own path, and I'm, walking through my career currently without an agent, without a manager, without any huge backing. I have to find my own roles. I got to show up to auditions. I'm boots on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
But even in that, I have to constantly seek God for what it is I'm supposed to be doing, because I want to stay on brand. I don't want to be doing things that take me off course, that take me out of purpose, you know?
I get it,
Yeah.
and it rings true to something one of our other guests said when we asked if they had any career advice for someone just starting out, and they said decide who you are and how you want to do it now, and set those hard lines. Don't let anyone else pull you out of it.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Because, baby, let me tell you something. Where's my camera? Let me tell you something. If you don't know who you are in this business, there's a whole sea of people waiting to tell you. And I guarantee you, 9 times out of 10, they will get it wrong. They will
I
get it
heard
wrong.
that.
So it's up to you to have that understanding so that you can get it right and walk the path you are supposed to be walking. Yeah.
Yeah. Let
Well
me tell you,
said.
you
That's
and Martin
good.
are aligned on that, because Martin basically kind of said the same thing. That's
Oh,
so funny.
Martin.
And he spoke so highly of you as well, I will
Oh,
say.
I love Martin. Me and Martin really haven't spoke again since then. Let me tell you why Martin is so important in that story. I didn't mention that. It's because at the time, I had these boundaries, but like I said, I still wasn't all the way developed in my I had some insecurities about those boundaries at that time. I had enough sense to have the boundaries, but I wasn't completely secure in them. And so after I made that decision, I still needed validation that I made the right decision, right? That I wasn't just being like an airhead. And so Martin was there directing the production. And so I went to him, I sought him out, and I went to him and said, "Hey, can we have a meeting?" you know, and he graciously accepted, and we sat down and had lunch or whatever we did. I don't remember now. But we sat down and I asked him, "What do you think about the decision I made not to take the role?" I just asked him. And he told me that he respected it. And he told me why he respected it, because I knew what I wanted. And how can you not respect a person who knows what they want? How can you not respect that? Even if you don't respect it, then you don't matter.
You tell him.
You don't. If you don't respect it, then you don't matter. You know what I'm saying? God bless. But I respect Martin so much because he really affirmed me in that decision, which would really affirm me in every boundary decision I would make going forward. And so I don't know if I ever told him that, but Martin, if you're watching, thank you.
I
Thank you so
can't
much for
wait to
that.
put the clips of you two complimenting each other side by side. This is nice. This is the cinematic universe that we're trying to
And
create.
while we at it, Martin booked me. Like, what are we doing here?
Hello.
Okay.
Great. Awesome. I also want to ask you, like, on the other end of the spectrum, I asked you about the challenges, right, of your boundaries,
Mhm.
but like, is there a certain time that you can remember when, like, you know, you're like, I want to be this light and I want to work in purpose. Like, I don't know if there's, again, like you said, sometimes there's not a set time,
Yeah.
but like knowing, like, or even if there's a show where you're like, oh, yes, this is it. Yes, I'm always going to walk with the Lord, especially when I'm performing.
Yeah, you know what the funny thing is that it's not that literal for me, Nick Casey. Like I didn't do a production of like I love the Lord and
She's a Christ superstar.
and then I was like, oh my goodness, this is what I want to do with my life. No, it wasn't that literal for me. It's just when you live your life, oh, when you live your life to please God, and I don't say this in a in a mindset of enslavement or anything like that. Like I'm living to serve my master, but I do believe that I was made by God for God. All right, FUBU. A lot of people don't know that God was the original maker of FUBU. He really was. We was made for him, by him. And so, but yeah, when you live your life in understanding that you were made by him and you were made for him, that's all you know how to do is seek after the work, indulge in the work, delight in the work that you feel makes him smile. And I'll say, I'll put another little anecdote here because I was just talking to my mom about this. Shout out to my mama. Hey, Alfie. Um, but I was telling her I can remember being a young lady and seeing another young lady. She was about maybe 3 or 4 years older than me. Her name was Shayna Fogel, and I hope she will see this. Maybe I'll tag her and when you guys share it. But Shayna Fogel, I remember we were like visiting her house because my mom was friends with her mom. And she was just kind of like into so much. She was like a cheerleader. She was on the choir at church. She like worked with the youth ministry at her church. She was just doing so much. And at the time I had absolutely nothing going on, right? I was so young. I maybe was like 11. And I remember looking at her and saying, wow, I want to be like that when I grow up. I like want to have stuff to do. I want to feel like I have stuff going on. I want to feel like I have a purpose. She just at this young age had this strong sense of purpose and she had this energy and she just was like, I just loved her. And I remember looking at her that day and being like, I want to be like her. And so I just told this story to my mom because she was asking me how I was doing and was I tired? And I said, yeah, you know, I said I am tired because I do a lot. I was like, but I do not gripe and complain about what I ask God for. Like it is my whole life's desire. And now I'm getting full. It's my whole life's desire to please the Lord. It's all I want.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
And so, hey, I do everything. And the things that I don't do them because I want to please the Lord. It don't make me better than nobody. It just makes me submitted. It just makes me surrendered. I have an understanding that I was made by him, for him. And that's how I live my life. And do I need reminders of that? Yes. And that's why we have Holy Spirit. Because I need reminders. Because sometimes I wake up wanting to be ratchet. Wanting to be a whole YN out here. Um, but then Holy Spirit reminds me that I can't say anything I want to, that I can't do anything I want to. And I'm like, I think it. No. I just had a moment the other day where I was walking through like a parking lot and I had a thought and I was like, ooh, that wasn't good. And I was like, you know what? Thank you, Holy Spirit. Because if it wasn't for you, I would just be out here a mess. I really would. I would be a whole mess.
I heard
So
that.
that's my story and I'm sticking to it. I want to please the Lord and that's how I live my life. That's how I build my career. I'm building a career that the Lord can be proud of. You know?
I respect it.
Amen.
Yeah. The good book says we're going to be judged on to our good works.
Yeah.
So you want to make sure it's
Yeah.
in his name that you do it.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Lovely. So let's talk about one of these good works. um, now you gave a nice little shout out to your man, your man, your man. Um, for those of y'all listening at home, Deja is one half of a very talented, successful, and just overall beautiful to look at power couple.
Oh.
And you and
So please release a
Jonathan,
Christmas album. I'm so sorry.
yeah,
Oh my
yeah.
goodness. We do have a Christmas song. It's called Something from the Heart. You can get it everywhere you get music.
Hold on, let me put that on Spotify.
Add it to the queue. Add it to the queue.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. When the House Act Christmas special comes up, I can't wait.
Thank you.
But you guys also work on a performing arts camp, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell us
Yep.
about it?
Yeah, so Rice Performing Arts Camp. We started it in 2021. I'm not gonna give y'all no fluff. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. My husband and I were going into the summer. We were bored, and we were like, we should do a performing arts camp. And we did. The first one we did at his dad's church in Henderson, North Carolina. And it was so successful that we decided to just keep doing it. And one of the things that we love about it is that we get to work with children who would or wouldn't normally indulge themselves in the arts, but they need it all the same, right? Like
Right.
we are firm believers at Rice Pack that the arts is not only for people who aspire to have a future career in the performing arts. It's for the people who need to learn the soft skills that are applicable to any path you take in life. Right? So we have kids coming in and they're learning how to be problem solvers. They're learning empathy. They're learning, interpersonal skills. They're learning how to be team players. They're learning how to deal with disappointment. They're learning, it's a lot of adults out here who never went to a performing arts camp and it shows.
I know
Praise
that's right.
God. God bless America. So, so yeah, it's very clear that you've never taken an acting class, right? Because you have no empathy for other people and what they're going through. So what we do is we come in on Monday, we cast. We it's probably about 40-ish students, anywhere between 15 students or 40-ish students, right? And we
It's just the two of
cast
y'all?
them. Say it again.
It's the two of y'all?
It's the
With the
two of
40.
us.
Oh my
Now, hey, baby,
gosh.
now. We true to this. We ain't new to this. So when we go into these spaces, there has to be a camp counselor or chaperone for every 10 students. So if you have 40 students for us that week, you need 4 people on standby because I need you to deal with behavior while I teach them this song. Praise God. And so, yeah, so we go in on a Monday, we cast them, and then by Friday, they're performing. They're doing a anywhere between like 30 minutes to an hour long musical for their families. And the transformation that we see in students from the span, within the time frame of Monday and Friday is absolutely mind blowing, right? Like, I can't tell you how many times we have seen people come in and they're like, I hate theater, I don't want to be here. And then by Friday, they're just having the time of their life. or you see someone coming and they're really fragile and quiet and shy, and then by the end of the week they're like bringing the house down with a solo. It's just such rewarding work, because the only way these kids can pay us back is to go on and be great in life, right? Continue to cultivate and hone in on the greatness that we pluck out in that week. And so I also love going back, to locations year after year and seeing the growth in these students, because we do see them again. And Rice Pack is going through some transitions right now. Won't talk too much about it, but yeah, we're growing. We're growing in grace. And so I'm excited to see how Rice Pack continues to, impact the next generation of world changers.
Nice.
Oh, yes. I love the fact that you said world changers as well. When I was growing up, that back in the day, I had a
Back
teacher
in
who
my
would
day.
say, yeah, I had a teacher who would say, the arts would save the world. And I completely agree with that. And like what y'all are doing will completely do that. The
Oh,
fact
thank
that you
you.
are really like raising the next generation of people to be empathetic, to be kind, to be creative. We need
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
We need that.
yeah. We really do. And when you think back to, it was all so God. We started in the pandemic where, the arts were like, well, right at the end of the pandemic. I won't exaggerate, but right at the end of the pandemic in 2021, where we were in a time where artists were told we could not do what we love to do, what we've been called to do, but we found a way to do it, right? We found a way to create anyway, in spite of. And I'd like to say that even though we weren't looked at as essential workers, we were most essential, because for all of y'all who were stuck in the house and you couldn't go anywhere, what were you doing? Watching movies, listening to music. Come on. Doing something artsy, indulging in the arts in some way. And you couldn't have done that if it weren't for us. You are welcome.
Let them know. Streaming hurt services had to get filled somehow.
Baby, let me tell you, you had people camping out on movie production lots because they couldn't go home to their families because they didn't want to catch COVID. Trying to film these movies, trying to film these shows to keep y'all entertained. So we were absolutely essential workers, and I just want to bring value and say that the work that we do as artists, it's so important. It's so important. And if you are an artist watching, listening, don't let anybody tell you otherwise. You are absolutely necessary and appreciated.
I hear that. I hear
Yeah.
that. Do you find that when you're with Rice Pack, when you were going to these different locations and programs, offering this service and whatnot, did you find
Mm.
that folks that weren't very acclimated to the arts, did they see the value instantly? Did they see it after a spiel? Did they have to wait until the whole week was done to where they say, "Oh, Deja, I see what you mean. I get the value of the
Mhm.
arts now"? Where did you find that other people
Yeah.
realized that?
So, so, with the organizations that we partner with, not so much, because the reason why they're bringing us is because they see the value, right?
Yeah.
They're bringing us to do something that they can't do or don't feel like doing. So they see the value in it, and I'm so grateful for people like Turning Point, Oasis Ministries in Henderson, North Carolina, who they bring us every year. The Hendersons, their last name is Henderson, and I'm grateful for them because they have been great partners in allowing us space and opportunity to impact their community at large and the children that they serve through the arts. So I'm grateful for them. And then you have the ending performance on Fridays, where just like the families and the communities come out to see the kids, even if they were not lovers of art or believers in what we were doing before they come. They're believers when they leave. We've had people, say, I heard that y'all were going to be doing a musical in 1 week. And I said, I didn't know how that was going to work. But when I saw those kids up there, I was blown away. Like, how did they get this done in 1 week, right? We have our methods. We have, we have our methods that we use that work for us to get things done. But the thing that I'm so blessed by every time is seeing a community of people come together in one space to cheer on these young kids. Because even if they don't really love the arts, we all have one thing in common. We want to see these kids successful. And so, whatever they are spending their time doing, we're going to come and support them. I love the unity I love the unity in that. And so, if they're not believers when we first come in town, they are by the time we leave. And that is one thing I've learned as an educator, is that, like, if a person feels like you are investing in their child, baby, they don't care what you're doing.
That's right.
They will support you till the end of time. You loving on my baby, you see something in my child, you are cultivating something positive and purposeful in my child. What do you need? What can I do to support you, help you, uplift you? That is the experience I've had, and I'm very grateful for that.
I hear you. Have you found any either like positive or negative effects that doing this educator work has had on like your career as a personal performer?
So I wouldn't say negative. Maybe when I was in the thick of it, I looked at it as negative, but everything in hindsight, right? We understand better by and by. That's what the old hymn says. so I don't, things that I used to think were negatives are things that I just charge to another plot point in my overall story, right? So I am a full-time artist now. I wasn't always. Just a little over a year ago, I was a theater director at a private school, and I was trying to figure out how to balance this thing that I love to do while also fulfilling another desire, which was sharing it with the next generation. And when I finally came to the realization that I could not do both, um, while trying to uh, perform at the level that I wanted to, I had to let one go. And so I decided to step away from my full-time position as a theater director and pursue my performance artistry full-time. And it has been one of the scariest but most rewarding decisions I've ever made. I took a leap. People talk about taking a leap of faith. I took one, and it's paid off. Not only because I've been working. I had to scratch my head. Not only because baby been working, but because I'm doing what I feel like I've been called to do, and God has also continuously created space for me to still share it with the next generation, right? Whether it be through acting coaching or, the students that I built relationships with as a theater director, they still call me and ask me for advice, right? Like, whatever it is you're supposed to be doing, no worries. Just obey God and He will make a way for you to be able to do it. Right? So, um, that was the thing that I used to look at as a negative. I used to look at, having to work a 9 to 5, so to speak, as a negative, but it was just a plot point in my story. I learned so much in my position as a theater director. I learned lessons that I probably wouldn't have learned if I never would have taken that position. So it had its value and it had its purpose in my life. And then when it was time to move on, I moved on, right? So it wasn't a negative, but it was a challenge. It was a challenge.
That's real. That's real. And I appreciate and want to highlight the fact that it it was a scary leap of faith that you had to take, because
Yeah.
there's a lot of folks that'll get out of get like as soon as they get an arts degree, go into theater education because it's more stable of a check, and
Mhm.
then they tell themselves that they want to make that jump to professional artists, and then find
Mhm.
themselves, I guess, a little more stuck in place.
Yeah.
Did you have a specific moment where you realized, oh, I can't do both at the best capacity that I want to? Or was it just a slow burn? Yeah, what broke the camel's back where you said, nope, gotta go
It was
now?
both. It was both. I think I went into that position knowing that I would not be there forever. Let me say this. And we have to be so careful with our words. Like, the tongue is a powerful thing. Because I
True.
used to always say, like, when I first went into that position, I used to say, I'll be here for about 3 years. I'll be here for about 3 years. And I really was there for 3 years. Although I I wanted to leave before I made the decision to leave. Let's be careful. Careful. Let's be clear.
Hmm.
I wanted to leave before then. Because I realized very early on that I would not be able to do both. Um, but I was so comfortable with, let's be very honest, with the stability of being a teacher. You got to understand, I went into that position right after I graduated from grad school. And while UGA was amazing, they gave me, coverage for my tuition, and they also paid me a stipend every month. It wasn't, you know, I wasn't no millionaire, you know. So my husband at the time had been going through a very challenging transition in his career as well. And so if we really added up our income, testimony is we were really living off of like a one-person income. And it was a struggle. It was a struggle. And I always said I was not going to be a struggling artist. That has always been my confession. And so after 3 years of like feeling like we were just barely making it, I was not ready to go into what I was calling the rat race of being a full time artist. I did not know what it looked like. I had never been a full time artist because before I was in grad school, I was either in school still working a 9 to 5 while creating, or I had been on tour once before, like a 1 year contract. So I didn't know what it really looked like to like get it out the mud, you know?
Right.
And I was scared to death of what that would look like coming out of 3 years of just barely making it. We never got evicted, but having to go to court because I was about to get evicted. My car got repoed, like I just went through so much and I was traumatized. I was like, baby, no, 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 no. I'm about to get a job. So
Some's
I
got to
did
take.
that. I did that. And all things, with the leading of Holy Spirit, right? Like, I believe that the Lord called me to my place of work for that season. And every year, even though before after year one, I realized that I wasn't going to be able to fulfill both passions equally. I realized that very early. I kept asking God before I signed my contract to go back another year. I would say, okay, do I still find purpose here? And if the answer was yes, then I would sign the contract. So I signed the contract 3 times. And the third year I was there, I just felt this pull to leave that I had not felt before. There was a frustration. My husband calls it a holy frustration. That's when you feel called to something else and you're trying to fight against it, but God won't let you rest.
Hmm.
And I was feeling that. but I was so scared to make the wrong decision. I did not want to put us in a position to be struggling and just barely making it again. So my thing was, if I do it God's way, then it's God's responsibility to fund this. It's God's responsibility to manage the results of this. If I did it my way, then it would be my responsibility. And baby, I'm not that good. I'm not that good. So I was really careful. I was really cautious because I wanted to make sure that I was really, I was doing what the Lord wanted me to do. And I will not forget this. I hope I never forget this. I went to an encounter at my church. Shout out to the Harvest Tabernacle Church. And my pastor, Pastor Stephanie Jennings, she was opening the altar. She was going forth in the prophetic. I attend a prophetic ministry. And she was starting to prophesy to people, and she called me out. She pointed at me. She said, Daja, nobody knew that maybe I had talked to my husband about wanting to leave my job, but I did not talk to him about like the frustration I was feeling. Like I was so close to being like, so she calls me out. She says, Daja, you can't be caged. And she spoke into my life and said, the Lord is about to bring you into a season of acceleration. Cannot make this up. I have the video to prove it. She said this to me. Somebody sent me a video. And she said, the Lord is about to call you into a season of acceleration. And right before she was done prophesying to me, she said, you can't be caged. And all of the resistance I had been feeling, all of the frustration that I had been feeling, all of the tug of war-ness that I had been feeling just dropped off of me. In that moment, I just felt like the Lord was saying, okay. And I remember the weekend, the Friday before that service, I had a conversation with my boss at the time, Don Johnson, love him. And he said something to me about returning the next year. And I made a joke and I said, maybe. Maybe. And he looked at me and he was like, all right, we'll get some rest. Because we had just finished our spring musical. And he was like, all right, get some rest. We'll talk about it next week. After that, I get prophesied to. She says, you can't be caged. And I went into that meeting that week. And I was just in tears. Because I didn't know that I would quit. But now I was in the meeting and I just knew it was time. And with tears in my eyes, I told him that I wasn't returning. And this is how I knew. It was really this moment that I knew for sure that this was Holy Spirit. Because he looked at me and he said, Daja, as much as I don't want to let you go, he was like, I know that I have to. And he said, even though you're making this decision, and this is not his exact words, I'm paraphrasing now. He was like, even though you're making this decision and I don't want you to, he was like, I probably wouldn't let you change your mind even if you tried. He said, because I know that the Lord is calling you to do this. And at that moment, I just felt, and he told me, he said, just your countenance has changed since we've had this conversation. He was like, you just look so much lighter. And I was like, that's all I could ask for. That was all the affirmation, all the validation I needed. And when I tell you, ever since I made that decision, like the Lord he really has managed the results, because I did it his way. He managed the results. And that's all I wanted. That's all I wanted.
I heard that.
Wow.
I heard that.
Am I talking too much?
No.
The
This
perfect
episode's about
amount.
you.
I know.
So
this is
keep
so
listening.
funny
This episode's
because
about you.
here I am talking about like, I don't know if I have anything to say. And now I'm just going on and on and on and on and on.
It is good. It's good. I mean, and
great.
the ability to, listen and trust the process is really where it matters. That's why one of my sayings when I'm getting overwhelmed and trying to take too much control over a situation, I got to
Yeah.
remind myself it's not my plan to make. It is not my
It's
plan to make.
not, right?
It's not.
And I do believe it's so important to give God something to work with, right? Like
Hmm.
write the vision, make it plain, right? Okay, very good. You got to have a vision. You have to know where you're going, because the Lord can't do anything in the earth except he do it through us. And
Right.
so you have to know where you're headed so that you can take the necessary steps to get there, right? Like the Lord needs our participation, but it's the plans of the Lord that prevails, right? Like a good man's steps, we take the steps and then the Lord will order them. A good man's steps are ordered by the Lord. And so that's just something that I live by. That like if I do it God's way, he's going to manage the results. I'm not responsible for this, God. I take this leap of faith. You are responsible for it. And that's not, being disrespectful. That's awareness.
Yeah.
I'm aware that this is not in the palm of my hands. I am aware that I am in the hands of God. And that's the best place to be. The best place to be is in the will of God. What Karen Clark and Kiki said it best. The safest place in the whole wide world, right? Is in the will of God. So it's just that awareness, man. It's you got to have that awareness, and having that awareness gives you the reassurance that you're gonna be okay, even when it gets a little hard. Because I didn't say it was easy. I just said it was rewarding. It has not been easy, but it has been rewarding. Why? Because I didn't go in my time. I waited for the timing of God. And because I did it God's way, he has been responsible for the results.
Amen.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. What a good time. We're wrapping.
Good talk. Good talk.
We're wrapping ourselves up here.
Mm.
Again, thank you so much for sharing your
Yeah,
insight
thank
and your
you.
testimony with us.
Thank y'all
Duly
for
appreciate
inviting me. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. And I'm tell you why, because I think I told y'all this offline, but I'm gonna say it on camera. I've been in such a grinding season, right? Boots on the ground. I've been in such a grinding season that when y'all approached me about coming on your platform, I didn't know that I had anything to say, but I am grateful to share my journey with people. I think that's the one thing that the Lord has called me to do. I just feel graced to testify. I feel
it. Makes
called to
sense.
testify. I feel like that's why the Lord made me a storyteller, is because he just want me to testify. Testifying sets me free, and I feel like my testimony sets other people free. So thank you for allowing me the space to testify
And thank
and
you for
share my
sharing.
story with other people.
You are
Anytime,
good at it. You are
anytime.
good at it.
Thank you.
Before
Thank
we
you.
go, we got to know first, do you have if you had to wrap up one little Instagrammable tidbit of advice for a young artist that's
Mhm.
looking to make it, what's that one piece of advice you would give?
One piece of advice that I can give other artists is to know who you are, know what you've been called to do. Um, because once you know that, nothing or no one can stop you, right? Once you have that reassurance of who you are, once you have that reassurance of what you've been put on this earth to do, no one and nothing can stop you, not even you. Not even you. You may try to stray away from it. You won't be able to get too far, because purpose will always call you back into alignment. It will always call you back. So just stay on your path, run your race. Don't look to your left. Don't look to your right. Keep your eyes on what the Lord is calling you to. And I promise you, in due season, you'll reap if you faint not. That's my advice.
That's a good one. And
It's a
that's a good
beautiful
one.
piece of advice.
And next up, for all of the wonderful listeners that, listen to you talk and are now your huge mega fans, how do they keep up with you? What's coming up next? What do they need to be on the lookout for?
Absolutely. So you all can follow my journey on Instagram at Daja M Rice. That's Daja, M like Mary, Rice like the food. Um, and next up, well, I'm currently in Waitress at Aurora Theater. So I don't know. We only have 1 weekend left, so I don't know if this will air before that ends. But if it
It is
does,
not.
it
It'll be
won't.
We'll
Very
tell them
good.
how
Cut that
good it
out.
was.
You can edit that out. So next up, I will be playing the roles of Aunt M and Glinda in The Wiz at Aurora Theater. I believe we open August 15th through September 7th. And have some other things that I'm working on after that, but I don't want to talk about it yet because I haven't signed the contract yet.
I know that's right.
But just follow me on Instagram at Daja M Rice, and you'll be able to see all the things. Whenever I'm in a show, I am not camera shy. I want to talk about it every day. So follow me and you'll be able to keep up that way. But yeah, next up, The Wiz. I'm excited. Amazing cast.
So over the moon excited. I
Can't
think
wait to come see
anybody
you.
within a
And you
100
know
mile
Marlon
radius.
is directing that.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
If I'm not
gonna be
excited about anything else, I'm excited about that. I have not worked with Marlon since The Mountaintop when we did my M.F.A. thesis together. And so I am so excited to work with him. He's brilliant, you guys. Is he one of your guests?
He is not.
No, couldn't
Next
Not
couldn't
yet.
season.
make the schedule. Couldn't make the
Not
Not
yet.
schedule,
I'm
yet.
manifesting that.
we
Get
did try.
Marlon Burnley on House Act. He's
Mhm.
amazing. He's amazing, and I'm so excited to work with him.
Get him here, get him here. Yeah, I'm so excited to see y'all in The Wiz. Your your take on Popular is going to be a great time.
Oh.
I can't wait. So yeah, this is the
Wait.
part.
They gonna get you for that, friend. They gonna get you for that. It's The Wiz, not
Wicked.
not what you call that show?
Wicked?
Wicked,
Not
the
Wicked.
other one,
Wicked,
the
yeah.
other one.
Yeah.
We're gonna retake that one. We're gonna retake
Yeah.
that one. We're gonna retake that one.
Yeah.
It's
I
okay.
don't want them to come after you, friend, because I know you know what you're talking about. So
I do know what I'm talking. Actually, just saw
don't come for my brother. Don't come for
Oh
him.
my
that
God.
part. What's that song with the skateboard kids? Where skateboard kids come out when she first lands in Oz? That one?
Oh, you're talking about He's the Wiz, but I'm not singing that one.
He's the
I'm gonna be doing
Wiz.
Believe in Yourself, and
Mm-hmm.
then the
Believe in
Feeling We
yourself with the
Once Had.
babies, with all the little star babies floating around.
Oh, He's the Wiz? Are you talking about?
No, and
Yeah, He's
believe
the
in
Wiz.
yourself. When
Oh yeah,
Galinda comes down at the
believe in
end,
yourself. Yes.
and she does it, and in the background, she's got a whole bunch of babies just hanging out.
Yo.
And if you rewatch it,
It's very weird in the film.
I love it. It's the perfect flavor of weird. I was watching the re-air, and there's this guy throughout the entire movie. He's literally like line by line re-singing all the songs and everything.
Yeah.
And so we keep doing like the slight side eyes, and at the end of the movie, he leans over and he's like, yeah, sorry, I've seen this 1,000 times.
You
My
don't
mom-
say.
My mom is the first baby that they show.
See, that's legacy. He should have led with that.
Yo, really. Maybe
You
announced
like-
beforehand.
Right.
that
You gotta
disclaimer.
lead with that, man.
I just drink.
But yeah, it's gonna be such a fun time. I mean, a stacked cast. You got Lawrence Flowers, you got Russell Alexander, Candy McClellan Davidson, you got India Tyree, Marcus. I mean,
unstoppable. It's going to be a
Yeah.
time. Mona, who just finished Teen, is going to be coming
No,
through.
let me not forget
Right.
Mona Swain as our Dorothy. Like,
Right?
It's going to be
y'all.
great.
Went to Campbell High School. Go Spartans.
Okay, come on. Yes, I'm living for this cast already, and so I'm so excited to be in that room. That's what I'm talking about. Like people who just know how to put together a group of beasts, you know.
Yeah.
And I just look forward to being challenged to take it to the next level every day, and so I'm so excited about that. Yeah,
I'm
so
overly
come see the
We're so
excited.
Wiz
excited to
at
see
Aurora
you.
Theater.
Yeah.
Good job.
Everyone
Good
go
job.
see. I'm already planning my seats. I can't wait. Thank you all. Thank you again, Deja.
Thank
And to
you.
all the listeners, I hope you have a great night.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the House Act podcast. Hope you enjoyed listening as much as we loved recording.
House Act is working to assemble a cutting-edge production group using the community we love to engage with so much. If you are interested in supporting us on our journey, please continue listening as we bring you a season of insightful conversation.
We would also love your support in other areas of our arts production. If you're a passionate creative or patron of the arts, please reach out and ask about the exciting work we have roadmapped for this upcoming year.
Help us make this house
your home.
Yeah, they're going to love that.
No, it's going to be great. Great.